In late 2025, Chinese-linked actor GTG 1002 launched an experimental attack against a North American cloud provider. It wasn't a human typing at a keyboard, it was an agentic AI.
This AI didn't wait for instructions. It performed reconnaissance, scanned for vulnerabilities, and developed its own exploit code. And it attempted to harvest credentials, all in a near-continuous loop of automated action.
In the past, a human team would have been needed weeks to do this. This AI did it in minutes. It was generating thousands of requests per second. At that speed, the breakout time, the gap between an intruder getting in and taking over, essentially vanishes. It's instantaneous.
But here's the twist. The attacker didn't win, because for the first time, the defense was also running at the speed of machines.
An autonomous defense agent on the provider's network noticed the anomaly. It didn't just alert a human, it acted. Within milliseconds, it isolated the affected service accounts, re-verified the identity of every active session, and shut the door before the AI could move laterally.
The war for the future isn't just about who has the best hackers anymore. It's about who has the best architecture. Welcome to the final episode of The Dragon's Digital Shadow. I'm Tova Devorin, your host, and welcome back to the Safe Breach Studios for the Cyber Resilience Brief, a Safe Breach podcast.
And I'm Adrian Cully, your co-host. Welcome back to our Dragon's Digital Shadow China Deep Dive Threat Series, Episode 6, The Great Defense.
In our final of this China Deep Dive series, we're looking at what can we practically do about this threat. We've spent 5 episodes so far in the darkness, but today we're looking at the light. We're talking about zero trust, agentic defense, and the international alliances that are finally turning the tide in 2026. Adrian, for decades, we've relied on the castle and moat strategy. You build a big firewall, you keep the bad guys out, and everyone inside the castle is trusted.
And as we've seen with Living Off the Land and the Typhoon attack groups, that model's dead. If an attacker can steal a legitimate credential, the moat doesn't matter. They're not breaking in, they're logging in. They're already in the throne room.
Which is why in 2026, the industry has finally fully embraced zero trust architecture.
As many of you are aware, zero trust isn't a product or a single product, it's a philosophy. It assumes that the network is already compromised. It treats every single request, whether it's coming from the CEO or a printer in the hallway, as hostile until proven otherwise. And a point we keep making, never forget, you need to apply zero trust to zero trust itself.
Identity has in fact become the new perimeter. It's no longer about where you're logging in from. It's about who you are, what device you're using, and whether your behavior matches your history.
This is the only way to stop groups like Vault Typhoon. If they steal a password, Zero Trust says, okay, you have the password, but your laptop doesn't have the correct security certificate. You're connecting at an unusual time. And you're trying to access a database you've never used before. Access denied.
We're moving from detection-led security, trying to find the needle in the haystack, to trust-led security, where we simply don't let anyone touch the hay unless they have 3 different forms of ID. But as we saw in the cold open, humans can't manage those trust checks fast enough when an AI is attacking.
So here's the challenge, Tova. We're not just looking for a needle in a haystack. It's a needle in a haystack that's made of needles. That's why cybersecurity is hard. But exactly as you're saying, the big shift of 2026 is we've moved from co-pilots. It's scary for all of us, isn't it? It doesn't seem so long ago that was the new groovy idea, and weren't we all very hip and with it because we were involving ourselves with co-pilots? That's no ancient history. Co-pilots, where the AI helps a human analyst, is now in the past. Now we're into agentic defense.
Right. We're moving from an idea where defense is assisting you to where it's actually executing for you. And these are autonomous systems that, as said, actually execute security operations on their own. They aren't just looking for viruses, they're looking for intent.
We're seeing platforms now that can map a company's normal digital nervous system. They know every employee's digital footprint and what it looks like. If a Ministry of State security hacker starts using a stolen account to quietly map the network, the defensive AI sees that behavioral breadcrumb instantly.
It's like having a digital immune system. It doesn't wait for you to go to the doctor. It identifies the pathogen and starts the white blood cell response automatically.
And it's working, Tova. In early 2026, Orange Cyber Defense published a report showing that AI-augmented detection has reduced the mean time to remediate, MTTR, the time it takes to kill an attack, by nearly 70%, 70% compared to just 2024. 70% reduction in 2 years.
We are finally getting closer to machine speed defense for machine speed attacks.
And we'll be right back.
Now, while the tech is evolving, so is the diplomacy. We're seeing a level of international cooperation in 2026 that was unthinkable 5 years ago.
The CISA International Strategic Plan for 25 has been a massive catalyst. It's not just the USA anymore. It's a global network of trusted partners, the UK, the EU, Australia, Japan, and even newer partners in Southeast Asia.
They are moving towards integrated cyber defense, which, if you think about it, is the natural counterpart to the integrated cyber attacks that we've talked about in earlier episodes. So when a new Typhoon botnet is discovered in South Korea, that information is shared in real time with defenders in London and Washington.
We're seeing naming and shaming campaigns with real teeth. In the last year, joint sanctions from 12 different nations have dismantled the financial infrastructure used by our friends APT 41. Remember, that's the unit that's both Ministry of State Security and they're allowed to freelance as long as they don't hack in China. They aren't just calling them out in the news, they're seizing their crypto wallets and the server farms.
We also have Cyber Shield 2026. This is the largest ever unclassified cyber exercise involving over 42 states and international partners. They are practicing for the axis of disruption scenarios that we talked about in our last episode on China, episode 5 of our 6-part series.
They're building a digital NATO. An attack on one is becoming an attack on all. And that collective resilience is making the grey zone much less comfortable for state-sponsored actors to operate in.
And we'll be right back.
As we look toward the rest of 2026 and beyond, there's one more shadow we need to discuss: the quantum cliff.
Right. Everyone is worried about what quantum computers will eventually be able to break, and will it be able to break current encryption? The People's Republic of China has been harvesting encrypted data for years. Truth be told, so has every other intelligence agency, waiting for the day they can finally read it.
But the defense is already moving. We're seeing 2026 as the year of cryptographic agility.
Companies are finally inventorying their encryption, undertaking cryptographic audits, cryptologic audits, and preparing to switch to post-quantum cryptography. It is in some respects a race against time, but for the first time, the West isn't just reacting. The West is building the locks for the future today. There are already several quantum secure encryption algorithms available. A set of NIST standards were published in 2024, namely FIPS 203, 204, and 205.
Indeed, it's a myth that quantum computing breaks all encryption. Simply is not the case. Number theory-based encryption is most vulnerable. However, encryption algorithms, which are, for example, lattice-based, remain secure as long as they have sufficiently long keys. It's a reminder that while the Dragon Shadow is long, it isn't permanent. Now, we started this series with a ghost and a power grid. We've looked at the infrastructure, the supply chains, the psychological games, and the global alliances.
Threat from China's cyber machine is the most complex challenge our digital society has ever faced. It's persistent, it's well-funded, and it's legally mandated by the state of China.
But as we've seen in this final episode, we are not helpless. Through zero trust, AI-driven defense, and a unified international front, we are starting to shrink the shadow. Use continuous threat exposure management, CTEM, to illuminate and banish the threat. Do stay up to date. The People's Republic of China's Ministry of State Security Brickstorm attack had new IOCs published by CISA as an addendum to advisory AR 25338A. And as always, SafeBreach customers and partners already have updated attack code available in our playbooks. And by the way, our SafeBreach customers can also use zero trust tools as well. We're integrated with Guardicore as of this week, so go ahead and look for it in your system.
Great advice, Tova. The internet was built for connectivity, not security. We are finally retrofitting the world for the reality of the 21st.
The battle for the digital future is ongoing, but the light is catching up. Rounding out our series on the Dragon's Digital Shadow, I'm Tova Dvorin.
And I'm Adrian. It's been a pleasure having you alongside with us for this series.
And until next time, stay safe with SafeBreach.
The Cyber Resilience Brief is a SafeBreach podcast. Executive produced by Adrian Cully and Tova Dvorin. Music produced by Sar Dresner. Hosted, edited, and compiled on Riverside. For more about SafeBreach and how you can validate your security controls across your entire IT infrastructure, visit us at www.safebreach.com. That's www.safebearch.com.